Walkthrough with the Ireland Clan.
What's up guys, it's Gabe here with the Ireland Clan, and my wife is going to walk through this 1943 flip that we just finished. It's super cool. At the end of the video, I'm going to walk through the numbers and show you my systems and all that fun stuff. But first, let's check it out.
So this house was actually my first house that I ever bought, and I ended up living here for a couple years and then renting it out for a couple years, and then me and my husband just updated it to sell.
So we didn't do any new carpet in here, but we did put in a light, which was really hard because I had to wire it over there, and I almost decided to connect it to knob and tube, but I know that that's could be really difficult, and so there was a neutral up there, and so long story short, we got the light in, but it was definitely a learning experience. But everything else, as far as the living room goes, is pretty much still here. We did do all new paint throughout here, and then we kept the green wall.
We replaced some of the baseboard, painted and refreshed the baseboard. We did replace that heater a couple years ago.
Yeah. But the last few weeks we've been last 2 weeks it took, and we did a few renovations, and now we got it all listed. And this was the main guy right here in this room.
So when I bought this house, it was plastic pink tile, wallpaper accents, a giant random storage unit above the shower, and just a wraparound shower. And Gabe tiled it. We got a new vanity. We did all new drywall, fresh paint, new floors. It's beautiful, I think.
Yeah.
Then we have 2 bedrooms. They just got refreshed.
Repainted, so they did have, it's kind of echoey in here, but there was a ceiling fan right there, which had a pull down, and so there was no light switch, but I did put in these really great, they actually come out, which I think is really cool. So you could just have your bed over here, you get the light on, you get ready to go to bed. Let's see, and you just click, boop, and you click it on. So I think that's actually really cool, and it's a great way that, you don't have to run wire in, because again, there was no, so look, behind here, it's just, there's nothing, there's no electrical box, it's just this. And we have that in both rooms over here. We'll show you this room right here. So again, nothing that we really did here. Melissa painted it all. And then again, we just have that outlet, same remote style.
Already had nice floors, nice baseboard.
Yep, it's got the laminate flooring in it. And then, so here's the living room again. We'll go right through here, which leads us to the kitchen.
Multi-purpose room. So we totally refreshed the kitchen.
What have I said about this person?
The cabinets were originally wood, the back of them being like old crusty paint. So we just gave them a refresh. We updated appliances. And then, I repainted the windows,
Day number 5.
The walls, the baseboard, just like gave it a little bit of a facelift.
Just like my wife said, we didn't really do anything new to the cabinets. The backsplash did have a peel and stick, and we took that off thinking it would just be drywall and that we would have to backsplash, but honestly, it's an older backsplash, but I like it. I actually think it's just perfect time. We took it off, and it's like, you know what, this is kind of back in style in my mind. I think so.
It's got character.
It's got character, and I love how the cabinets go all the way to the ceiling. Just makes it feel larger, and we did all gold accents, pulls, and faucet and whatnot. Has a beautiful double oven, and so all stainless steel appliances, a great selling point.
Yeah, and I love the countertops. When I first bought the house, I didn't really love it, but I really feel like the warm colors are back in style. So
my wife and I had actually bought before we even met, we had bought a house close to the same time, and I remember being so jelly because she's got these beautiful granite countertops, and mine are that ugly wood laminate that I covered with that plastic roll-on stuff. Here is the dining room. It's actually pretty spacious. It's shared with the laundry room and just a nice little hangout area. We had a coffee bar right there at one point in time.
Yeah.
So just a great little corner to be able to do that.
So much storage in this space. It's so cool.
Yeah, lots of storage.
Goods pantry. Lots of space.
Yeah.
For your activities.
And then what used to be in here?
This was a giant cabinet. that made it so you couldn't bring anything up the stairs. It was like this super weird built-in. So when we took it out, there was a bunch of holes in the floor. So we totally redid the floors. We put up the beadboard and just made this an inviting space instead of a random space.
Yeah, I think so. The beadboard we put up about a week ago, and I think that changed the space so much. Before it was pink. It was just this girl pink that, you know, was great when she was living here, but it definitely stood out. And so got the gold hooks in there, just a nice little entryway closet, which leads you to the 2 rooms up there. And then we have a powder room, just a little half bath right
and
here.
A baby.
And again, did all gold. I really like the faucet. You probably saw the other one. But this one, kind of the same style. I think it's really cool. A cute little 24-inch vanity right there.
This room was a huge transformation. When I bought this house, this was orange floral wallpaper. But because this was an addition, this wasn't drywall. It was just wallpaper over plywood. So I wanted to do something to give it a little character. So I just plastered it and we painted it and color saturated it into like a nice blue.
And it's actually a pretty good sized bathroom. And on top of that, you have a lot of good storage space, which is just your, it's kind of hard to see, but under the stairs, as you can see, is what that is.
Could be a 5th bedroom.
Little Harry Potter room.
Then we did refresh this carpet. This was like the old, no fluff carpet that had been here.
It felt like you were walking on plywood.
Decade. And we refreshed, took out all of the trims. We did new trim, new paint.
What are you working on?
Refreshed the doors just with a whitewash. Same within the bedrooms, new trim. Refreshed the doors into the closets. And then new lights. They had mismatching lights, so.
So yeah, and these ones actually did have the wired in lights. So. But they were the old boob lights, so we put the flush mounts in. And then cute little closet. I think a cool feature if you're like showing it with kids, which if you're buying a 4-bedroom, you normally have kids, but yeah, cool little like hiding spot right there, I think. And then the closets are shared. The room goes all the way down there, or the other room. Okay, so I nerd out over this stuff. We're so excited. I'm excited at least to go over the numbers here. As you can see, so this is the system that I use. But before we get into this, number one, I forgot my tripod. And so yes, I'm holding the camera, so I'm sorry if it's weird and shaky. Yeah, it's just you're just gonna have to deal with it. So let's dive in here. I just wanna say, as you guys can see, we are a family. We flip homes. We try to get this content out to you. Honestly, YouTube doesn't pay a whole lot, and so any help that you guys can do, it's free. Just like, share, and just comment, and that helps so much just with the algorithm and how things work. And so, yeah, here we go. So calculated profit on this house, I'll say it, we made about $200,000. That's not normal. Normally we'll do about 100 to 120. With this one, we had a little help from appreciation. And so this was a rental. My wife bought this home before we got married. We had it for a rental for a little bit. So we actually bought the house at $365,000. But after a few years, that's what we, owed. And so what we ended up getting at closing, which was today, by the way. Happy closing day to us, yes. So this is what we got. We were below the 70% rule. And let's see, after repair value, that's what we closed at. And you can check it out. The address is 1721 Cedar Street, Everett. Look it up on Zillow. Yes, that is what we closed at, $545,000. Go ahead and check it out. What was, I think it was $365. Anyways, it's all public record. Go ahead and check all this out. And so, some people don't believe that we're actually doing this, but we're doing this, and we're also helping people do it. So, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about this number. So you're telling me almost $6,000 to flip a house. Yes and no. Normally it's a little bit more. Two things though. We do all the work ourselves. We don't hire anything out. Sometimes we do. We did in this scenario, and I'll walk you through what we did and who we hired and whatnot. But the house didn't need a whole lot. That's why you're looking at the $6,000 number. But let's jump into the itemized, it just kind of literally like everything we did. And this is so fun. So nothing here, as you can see, it's all zeros. no demolition, we did demolition, but we didn't hire anyone for it. So there's no labor costs, no material costs. I already have all the tools. Siding was $200. We did have to re-side part of the house. And looks like nothing else here. $161 for framing and drywall. I already know that I didn't buy any lumber at all. So that's just drywall. So drywall, I think I bought a little bit of mud. Right here we have, cabinets and countertops. I'm actually very curious. We did not buy, that might be, scroll down, 542. That was the vanity cabinet, and that was both of them. So for both bathrooms, we got brand new vanities. They were very small. We got them off Amazon. That's a quick tip for you. Don't just look at your local, Lowe's, Home Depot, other, hardware stores or whatever. Amazon has some great stuff, and especially if you're doing flips, it might not be the best stuff, but it looks great. And I mean, it lasts. It's cheaper stuff. It's cheaper material, a lot of the stuff. But that's what we did, and I think the vanities look great. And so as we go down here, one of the biggest costs is the carpet right here. So we hired that out. It was not 22. Yeah, okay. It was $17.99 to get both rooms done upstairs, a little hallway, and then stairs. Whole stairs. So it was $17.99. I did this they were the lowest bet. They were a huge company, so I know they were going to do a good job. I have a video on kind of just how to hire the right contractors, because that can get messy with the flip. But once they had their final number, which was $1,900, I said, I really think we want to go with you. We're ready to put the money down right now. Are you able to do $1,700? And they said we could do, after tax, we can bring it to $1,799. I was going to pay $19 anyway, so there we go. But what else do we have on here? $490 for vinyl. Okay, so that was the flooring. Both bathrooms, we did a LVP tile. It looks like tile, but it was LVP. It was about as expensive as tile, but a lot less work. All right, and then tiling. So this was for the shower. And apparently $720. Apparently we paid quite a bit for tile. My wife likes the good stuff, and it pays off. Doing this for a while, we know where to put the money and where not to put the money. And then miscellaneous. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to go over here. Again, we didn't do a whole lot to this specific flip, but I'll kind of just as I'm talking, there's just going to be tons of overlays. And so you just know all the stuff that we did to it. And it was a great turnaround. Most of it was just labor, sweat equity. I mean, outside, this was the first flip where I took advantage of the landscaping. I read something, I think Charlie Munger said it. He said, buyers make their decision within the first 7 seconds. Now, keep in mind, it takes on average about 56 seconds for the buyer to get out of their car, the broker to open the lockbox, and for you to go inside. That's on average. And so people have already made their decision within the first 7 seconds. Of course, yeah, they're going to look at the house still, but they've already made their decision. And so I wanted to be on market, buyer ready day one. And so I made the landscaping look amazing. I pulled out my edger, weed whacker, hedge trimmer. We laid down some beautiful beauty bark. Oh, and it looked absolutely amazing. I was very proud of the work I did. And we had 3 or 4 offers. Not physically, we had 3 verbal offers, and then people just didn't want to compete. People used to all the time. Again, this video is 2026. It's March right now. And so to be able to get people to almost compete is very rare right now. I mean, you were seeing that crazy right after COVID, where it's just 70,000 above asking, or whatever percentage above asking. And you're just not seeing that anymore. You'll see full price offers sometimes negotiate a little bit less, or sometimes they have to sit on the market for a while. But we got a full price offer the next day. And so we know how to run our numbers. And it helps that both of my wife are realtors. And that's why we want to teach, because we're not just flippers that, wanted to be investors and what. I mean, we totally are flippers that wanted to be investors. But we're realtors, and we wanted to be more than real estate agents. We wanted to invest. We didn't want to just work with clients and we only get paid when we get commission. We wanted to grow generational wealth. And so aside from all that, we spent quite a bit on Amazon, $830, and then $90 on the beadboard, which was that beautiful beadboard we did in the walkway there. But that is it. This was such a fun flip. It was so fun. It was so easy. The first week, I'm not gonna lie, we were both wiped out. So this flip is right next to my wife's parents. And so we went over there and we got both of them sick. We were puking, they were puking. There's a son who was there who's autistic and he can't really walk and everything. He was puking all over the carpet. I felt so bad. We brought this over, my wife started puking and then, we go over and then I wake up the next morning. This was the day I was supposed to start flipping and I was just wiped out. And so I took one day off. I think I waited the next day and I didn't work. No, I did go to work the next day, but oh my gosh, I couldn't eat anything. I really wanted to, but I couldn't keep it down. And it was just exhausting. I probably should have waited more days, but it just wanted to get started and it probably bit me in the butt because I wasn't able to recover. But that's pretty much it. This was such a fun flip. I could go on and on about this. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.